All right, guys, temperatures are starting to warm up a little bit. It is early spring. That means it is time to start working on the yard. And the best way to green up this yard, wake it up, and promote root development is with a spring nitrogen blitz. So the main reason that you want to do a spring nitrogen blitz is that early spring is the time to wake up, green up, and thicken up your yard. And here are the steps of how to do a spring nitrogen blitz. First, we are going to get the mower out. We are going to scalp the lawn. We are going to take the mower deck as low as we can get it and try and pull out some of that dead grass, that dead thatch that is compacted over the winter. And second, we want to dethatch and aerate the lawn. And the reason for that is we want to create space for these roots to have healthy growth. We want to reduce weed pressure. And we also want to give space for when we put in fertilizers or other nutrients that the lawn needs. And number three, we want to hit it with some fast-release nitrogen mixed with sulfur to promote healthy roots, as well as get it to green up quick and have your lawn looking amazing as we head into summer. But one caveat, we do not want to over-fertilize this grass. In the spring, you want to promote healthy root growth. This is when your grass spends time building out its root system so it can sustain hot temperatures in the summer. So for our spring nitrogen blitz, we really should call it a mini blitz. We are going to spoon feed this lawn nitrogen over the course of 2 to 3 weeks. Now let me show you exactly what you need to do this. First thing is, you are going to need a mower. Obviously, we need to scalp the lawn. If you have a side shoot that you can throw on here, you might want to if your yard is already pretty thick early in the spring. Otherwise, again, the grass should be low enough that you could probably just bag it as you go. The second thing you are going to need is something to aerate. What I love to use is this Sunjoe dethatcher and scarifier. It comes with a scarifying attachment. I will show it when we get to that part, but it cuts up the soil, it tills it up a little bit, creates some aeration, as well as pulls out the thatch. It works amazing. These things are not very expensive, and if you use it once or twice a year like we do, it is easily going to pay itself off over time. So we highly recommend getting one of these if you are serious about getting your yard to look green. You are going to need probably a rake to rake up the thatch. You will be surprised how much comes up, or you could take your mower and mow over the top and bag it up. And then you are also going to need ammonium sulfate. So you can find ammonium sulfate typically at a feed store or your local big box store. But if you do not have access to ammonium sulfate, I will include links in the description below for where you can get ammonium sulfate online. And then in order to put that ammonium sulfate on your yard, you are going to need a spreader. You can use a hand spreader, a push spreader. I typically use the hand spreader. I feel like I get a little bit more control over how I put it on my yard. My yard is also not enormous, so this works great for me. And then obviously you are going to want some handy gloves, and let's go and get it done. Step one, we need to scalp the lawn. So when it comes to scalping the lawn, you just want to put your mower deck as low as you can. If your lawn is already a little bit longer, a little bit greener, you might want to start going just down one. You know, mow, bag it up, and then lower it again instead of lowering it all the way to the bottom. My grass is already pretty short. I am just going to lower the mower deck all the way down, and then we will get going. So we just finished scalping, and man, it feels good to be out here again in the spring, and it is also fun to even see the lines. You can kind of see there has been a few spots where it kind of, beat it up. What is nice in the spring is your yard is already beat up from the winter, so it is a good time to scalp it. You won't really notice the difference. Now we are on to step two, where we are going to dethatch and scarify the lawn, and we are going to be using this Sunjoe dethatcher scarifier. So if you come over here, let me show you what this looks like on the bottom. This Sunjoe comes with both a dethatching attachment and a scarifying attachment. This is the scarifying attachment. They are bigger, they are harder. The dethatching one, they are really skinny. What I love about this is these are going to go into the soil, till it up. So it is going to give you that aeration aspect, but it is also going to pull out all the dead thatch. And you will be surprised, guarantee there is going to be a ton of stuff that comes out. Kind of the life cycle of grass. It grows, it dies, it falls down in there, and it compacts. So doing this scarifying and dethatching is just one of the best ways to maintain your yard. Let it breathe and give it room to establish healthy roots and be green and healthy all summer. If you have never used the Sunjoe dethatcher scarifier before, Let's talk about the height setting. So over here on the right-hand side, you will see this is where you set the height of how deep it is going to go into the soil. If you have never done it, I would start with 0 and then maybe lower it down to 5 or 10 on subsequent passes. If you have been doing this every year, you can probably just go right down to the 10. And the way you adjust is you push it in and then you move it up or down. So we are going to move it down to 10. All right, let's get this thing done. And one thing to be aware of when you are scarifying, make sure you steer clear of any sprinkler heads or if you have some drain pop-ups. I have destroyed these two drain pop-ups right here multiple times. I either scalp over the top or I have scarified them, so just be a little bit careful. And then the last thing when I go to scarify, I typically do two passes. The first is I am going to do a perimeter run, and then I am going to start just going one direction back and forth. We are going to stop, rake it, bag it up, and then I will come back and go perpendicular for a second pass. Stop, rake, bag it up, and we will go to that point. Well, welcome to my hay farm here. Look at this, man. I did this in the fall. I think there is more now than there was when I did it in the fall. Once we clean it up, it is really fun. It almost feels like you can see your yard breathing again. But also we got one more pass to do, and you will be surprised how much more comes up. So let's rake this up, clean it up, and we will take one more look before we do that second pass. All right, we finished the first pass. We are going to come and do a second pass perpendicular, and we will go do that right now. All right, we finished raking up, and then you know what? We did one other pass with the lawnmower. I just raised the mower deck up one just to suck up the remaining grass. I actually advise doing that. It pulled a whole bag again just from doing that. And you can see some of the striations from the scarifier. Those how it kind of tilled up. There are some spots over here where you can really see the dirt. You can see where it has cut up the dirt right there. But man, I will say this. Even just doing the scarifying process, like I don't know if you remember how this looked before, but it was matted down because it had snow. But look, you can start seeing all the green that was already there. It has just now been uncovered because of the scarifying. And yeah, I am excited to see how this turns out. Now that the yard is prepped, it is now time for the actual nitrogen blitz part of the process. Now, I talk about it being a mini blitz because what we are going to do is we are going to spoon feed nitrogen over a couple of applications at a lower rate than just doing a single application. So the product that we are using is ammonium sulfate. One of the reasons I love this is you get a blast of nitrogen to help the grass wake up and green up. But it also has sulfur in it, which promotes nutrient uptake and also promotes a healthy root system. Because in the spring, you want these roots to grow. If you overdo it on the nitrogen, you can promote top growth too much to where it comes at the expense of your roots. So that is where we want to kind of do this responsibly. Do a couple different applications of the ammonium sulfate at a certain application rate. And when it comes to the application rate of the ammonium sulfate, it is going to be a half pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square FT. And that equates to 212 lBOE of this product per 1,000 square FT. That is what gets you that ratio. So for my yard, I am just under 2,000 square FI. So I am going to use just around 5 lb, which is what this little hand spreader holds. So I am going to fill it up near the top to go and spread out on my yard. Okay, we are about ready to put this down, but let me just go over the frequency one more time. So we are putting it down once today, and then we will reapply each week 2 more times for a total of 3 applications. Once today, once next week, and once in 2 weeks. And after you apply, you do need to put water on this yard. We have rain in the forecast, so I am going to let it rain tonight. Water this in. Otherwise, you are going to want to make sure you water it in around 12 to 24 hours after you apply it. And so when I apply it, again, I am going to go around the perimeter just to kind of control it, make sure that not too much product goes on my cement, and then I am going to go one direction and then the other direction until it is all gone. So let's go do it. Okay, we just put those prills down. You can see it is impossible to get it totally in the yard after an application. So what we like to do is make sure to grab a blower or a broom and just blow or sweep this back into your yard so you are not wasting any of your product. All right, the work is done. Now it is time to wait. We will come back and see how this yard is doing. All right, guys, it has been about 1 week. You can kind of see I've got some green coming in on the sides, up here on the front as well. In the middle, it is taking a little bit longer. I've got some green coming in here at the back too. Full transparency, right after I recorded that first part of the spring nitrogen blitz, we had a cold front that moved in, and it was here for about 4 days, and temperatures were like 30 to 40 degree. So I think the grass has just stayed dormant. It is finally starting to wake up now. The temperatures are going back up a little bit. But again, that is another reason why when we are spoon feeding your grass nitrogen as part of a nitrogen blitz, you are going to apply this 2 to 3 times. So where it has been 7 days, I am going to do the second application, and let's go do that now. All right, guys, we are officially at the end of week 2, and you can see it has greened up quite a bit from what it was. I think I was a little bit delayed from that first week. We had that cold front that moved in, but last week we had great temperatures, and yeah, you can see it is kind of evenly greening up all around the yard. So I am going to go do one more application, finish off this spring mini blitz, and then we are going to take a look in a few more days and show a final result and see what we get. All right, guys, it has officially been 3 weeks to the day that I started the spring nitrogen blitz. And wow, it looks so much better. You know, the work is definitely not done. There is still more to do to keep getting it even greener and healthier and more lush for the season. But as far as having like an overall greening up, improving on that really yellow-brown color that we had to start out with, it looks so much better. All right, guys, that is it. That is how you do a spring nitrogen blitz. If this story changed the way you look at your early spring lawn care, please subscribe and like our channel. We are uncovering the secrets to a perfect landscape that others might try to bury. Let's grow the future together. The next lawn treasure will be revealed soon.